We owe it to them na hindi na ito mauulit. To the committee, will conduct a motu proprio investigation on the widespread power outage in Panay Island, which occurred on January 2, 2024, to identify the cause of the power failure and urge the Department of Energy and the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines a comprehensive plan of action and a more sustainable solution to the energy supply in the region. Here we are again. Last January 2, 2024, Western Visayas, particularly Panay Island, experienced a power outage for about 3 days. Kung natatandaan po natin, a similar system disturbance that caused a major blackout in Negros and Panay happened last April. Hiyang-hiya po ako sa mga tao ng Panay Island na naapektuhan ng blackout kasi nangyari na ito sa kanila noon. Yung pahirap na naidulot nito sa ating mga kababayan na hindi pwedeng baliwalain. Yung init, yung kawalan ng kasiguraduhan ay hindi pwedeng baliwalain. Yung pagsira sa mga kagamitan at produkto para sa negosyo, mga medical facilities na naapektuhan. Iloilo City Mayor Jerry Treñas said that Iloilo alone stands to lose 1.5 billion pesos due to the 3-day power outage. I can only imagine what the people of Panay Island went through. We owe it to them na hindi na ito mauulit. We owe it to them na hindi na ito mauulit. At bakit naulit ang pangyaring ito sa Panay? What could have been done better? What changes should we make to prevent this from happening again? Our people deserve nothing less. Gumawa na tayo ng tunay na solusyon sa power integrity at grid stability sa Panay Island. Let's not wait for this to happen again or to happen in other similar areas. And so for today, gusto ko pong maliwanagan tayo sa 4 na bagay. Una, what was the cause of the power outage? Lack of action from NGCP in implementing a manual load dropping. Nagkulang ba ang mga GENCO o power plants? Ano ang sanhi at bakit nag-trip at matagal nakabalik online? Pati na rin ang mga distribution utilities. Kulang ba sa protective measures ang grid? Ang mga planta, ang mga distribution utilities. Pangalawa, how similar is this case to the April 2023 na Panay blackout? There have been findings made by DOE on the blackout and measures that have been recommended. Were there measures carried out? If yes, how can this happen again? Is this still because hindi pa din natatapos ang Cebu Negros Panay Backbone Project? Pangatlo, what could each power industry player do to avoid this from happening again sa Panay or other similarly situated areas? At pangapat, who should be held liable for the losses of those affected by the blackout? What is the liability of those responsible for the blackout? Hindi pwedeng sorry na lang parati. Damage has been done and reparations need to be made. I expect full cooperation from everyone today. Mahiya na lang tayo sa mga tao na naghirap at sa mga taong bayad ng napakamahal na kuryente. They really deserve better.
Bagamat sa totoo lang, nakakalungkot at nakakagalit na gaya ng sinabi na ni Chair, nandito na naman tayo. sa panibagong investigasyon para sa panibagong blackout na nagdulot na naman ng malaking aberya at pagdurusa sa ating mga kababayan. Wala pa ngang isang taon yung nakaraang investigasyon ng Senado sa issue ng power outage sa bansa. Hindi na tayo natuto. Hindi na tayo nadala. Noong Enero 2, 2024, malawakang power outage ang sumalubong sa milyon-milyon sa aking mga kasimanwa sa Panay at Guimaras. Nagtiis sa kadiliman ang napakaraming kababayan sa kanilang mga kabahayan habang napilay ang operasyon ng mga opisina ng gobyerno, ospital at eskwelahan. Malaking dagok ang dulot ng blackout sa mga negosyo. Gaya din ng sinabi ng chair, sa Iloilo City pa lang, tinatayang 1.5 billion pesos ang nawala sa economic output ng syudad dahil sa ilang araw na walang kuryente. Sana'y masagot sa ating investigasyon ang pangunahing tanong ng ating mga kababayan. Ano ba ang nangyari at sino ba ang dapat managot sa malawakang blackout sa Panay at Guimaras? At mas mahalaga, paano ba natin masisiguro na hindi na mauulit muli ang blackout sa mga darating na linggo at buwan, lalo na't palapit na ang summer season? At the center of this fiasco is the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines. Mismong si Presidente at ang Department of Energy itinuturo ang pagkukulang ng NGCP sa tungkulin nito bilang system operator. I hope the NGCP will address today the many questions regarding their action or inaction during the critical hours of the blackout. Sino ang in charge sa operasyon ng NGCP noong Enero 2? Sino ang nasa likod ng desisyon na tila hindi kumilos sa 2-hour window of opportunity para pigilan ang massive outage? Nagkaroon ba ng sapat na walang kamatayang ancillary services na dapat ay sasalo sa sistema tuwing may disturbance, ayon na rin sa Philippine Grid Code? Sa mga reports na pinalabas, bakit walang real-time system profile update mula sa NGCP bago at noong kalagitnaan ng blackout? Kahit na may access ito sa Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition o SCADA system. At naisumite na ba ng NGCP ang SCADA logs sa mga ahensya gaya ng Energy Regulatory Commission? Sa kabilang banda, sana ay makuha din natin ang kumpletong larawan ukol sa kritikal na papel ng power generation companies na nag-uugnay sa masalimuot na insidenteng ito. I also want to know more from the energy experts about the issues regarding frequency and system undervoltage and why understanding these technical issues is important for our comprehensive evaluation of what happened on Panay and Guimaras. Ang hiling ko sa NGCP at lahat ng ating resource persons, sana iwasan ang turoan at palusot. The millions affected by the blackout deserve full transparency and accountability, not cover-ups or excuses. All relevant information should be available for scrutiny by government and the public alike. In our previous hearings, Mr. Chair, I also have called out NGCP for its repeated failure to fulfill its obligations to the country, even as it rakes in billions in profits for its shareholders. Hindi pa rin natutugunan ang issue ng national security dahil sa 40% ownership ng China sa NGCP. Sinusulong din natin ipatupad na ang refund ng 200 billion pesos na pass-on charges ng NGCP sa mga consumer matapos i-disallow ito ng ERC noong nakaraang taon. Kung makukumpirma sa ating pagdinig na naging pabaya o incompetent ang NGCP sa obligasyon nito bilang system operator ng power grid ng bansa, oras na para simulan na ng Senado ang review ng mismong legislative franchise ng NGCP. Matagal na ring sinabi ng National Transmission Corporation o Transco na handa itong gampanan ang obligasyon ng NGCP bilang system operator. It is time for the dysfunctional cycle of unending blackouts and expensive power costs to end. Kung hadlang ang NGCP sa pagtupad ng pangarap para magkaroon ng mura at maaasahang supply ng kuryente para sa bawat Pilipino, oras na para alisin ang hadlang na ito.
In the first few days of January, it is similar to what happened last April 27 to be exact, 2023, last year. Paulit-ulit na lang po ito. I also likewise re-echo what Senator Tiveros just said a while ago, that perhaps there is a need to revisit Republic Act 9511, the franchise granting NGCP the power to the business to convey transmission of electricity. Mr. Chairman, perhaps the bottom line here is Section 2 of RA 9511. What is required by the common good? Ano po ba yung kailangan ng mga kababayan natin sa Panay? Kailangan po ba silang abisuhan? Kailangan po ba silang sabihan kung kailan marirestore ang elektrisidad? Perhaps, Mr. Chairman, that there is a violation if we look at the immediate actuations given by the NDCP. NGCP's failure to immediately acknowledge their shortcomings in managing the Panay power outage further erodes trust and raises concerns about their commitment to transparency and in addressing systems issues within their operations. And if you look at, Mr. Chairman, if you look at Section 3, baka nakakalimutan nila, yung nakalagay po doon na words, yung industry standards, hindi lang po yung technical standards, kasama rin po doon yung transparency and accountability. Yun po siguro yung hinihintay at hinihiling ng ating mga kababayan nung napakahirap na 3 o 4 na araw na nagdaan noong Enero na walang tugon na nadinig except for some radio interviews coming from the NGCP. So kung natugunan po yon, palagay ko po ay kung hindi po natugunan yun noon, dapat po matugunan po sa...
Lubong po ng bagong taon, halos 2 milyong consumers po natin ang nawalan ng kuryente sa Panay Island dahil halos 3,351 megawatts in over 164 hours ang nawalan po ng kuryente ho sa sistema. At dahil ho dito, nabasa ko po sa mga news reports at ayon rin po sa planning offices ng Iloilo Province and Iloilo City, halos 5.7 billion pesos in terms of economic losses ang nawala sa Iloilo Province and the city. Sa mga ganitong panahon, Mr. Chairman, hindi na ho tayo mabubuhay na walang kuryente. No, ang kuryente parang tubig, parang hangin. It's very important not only for businesses but also for our daily sustenance. So, Mr. Chairman, I join our colleagues in looking for the truth. It's important not to repeat this occurrence again. I guess this is, kagaya ho nang nasabi ho ng ating mga kasama, this is the second time around. But my fear is summer is fast approaching. We have El Nino in our midst. And actors to account, this might become a real problem when the summer comes in. So, Mr. Chairman, again, I join our colleagues to look for solutions, but as well as holding people to account in what to what happened in Panay Island. Thank you.
Inquiry need of legislation po ito para malaman at alamin kung ano nangyari. Hindi po namin layunin na maghusga pa sa puntong ito. Pero nais ko isa publiko at sabihin na sa industriya ng pagbibigay ng kuryente, 3 ang may malawak na papel na ginagampanan, 4 kung bibilangin ko ang mga ahensya ng pamahalaan. 3, namely, yung nagja-generate ng kuryente, ibig sabihin yung mga power plant, yung nagtatransmit ng kuryente mula sa mga power plant o NGCP, at yung nagdi-distribute ng kuryente sa mga consumers natin, household at mga negosyo at mga businesses. Nandun din ang pamahalaan, pang-4, pinakamalawak na papel na ginagampanan na yung ERC, sunod DOE, sunod ang IMAP na maganda namang nandito, upang matiyak na ginagawa ng lahat ang kanilang trabaho. Madaling ituro at ibaling ang sisi sa pinakamalaki sa kwarto, ika nga, at yan ay ang NGCP. Subalit kung wala naman silang kuryenteng ihahatid, wala namang madedeliver sa distribution utility din. Nais ko pagbigay alam sa ating mga kasamahan, hindi lamang sa komite, pero sa ating imbitado mga bisita, na sinuri ko na ang technical report na nanggagaling sa iba't ibang hensya kaugnay nito. At mas magandang manggaling sa inyo bago namin questionin yung kada stage ng nangyari, kung ano ba talaga at saan ba talaga nagsimula. And if you ask me, Mr. Chairman, I'd rather that it start at 12 noon of January 2, and then timeline-wise, ano nangyari ng 12:09 nung bumagsak ang PEDC 1, ilang megawatts yun, which is 83, anong nangyari in between, at kung may pwede bang gawin yung mga players dito, namely distributor, transmission, and power plant. Ano nangyari noong 2019 nung bumagsak ang PCEC, isa sa pinakamalaking generating power plants doon, at halos 1 segundo na lamang ang pagitan, sunod-sunod nang nagkaroon ng unscheduled shutdown lahat ng planta, kabilang ang submarine cable na nagkokonekta sa Negros, dahil yung sistema na mismo ang nagdikta nun. Subalit, Mr. Chairman, pangunahan ko lang, base sa records na nakita ko, mula nung nawala ang PEDC 1 ng 12:09, pasok pa rin sa frequency na tinatalaga ng National Grid Code ang voltage, frequency, at unbalanced. Ang tanong, kung pasok pa rin siya hanggang 219, bakit nag-trip o nagkaroon ng unscheduled shutdown ang PCPC? Ang issue para sa akin, Mr. Chairman, is baka kailangan i-adjust yung range o baka kailangan tingnan yung mga nagtitrigger sa breaker ng planta na mag-unscheduled shutdown para protektahan yung planta nila. Dahil siyempre, mahal yung mga plantang yan eh. Siyempre, gusto na lang huwag masira. Parang sa bahay lang yan na may transformer, di ba? Ayaw mo masira. So, dapat makita natin yung mga standards na yon sa investigation ito para makita at malaman kung paano ito may iwasan sa darating na panahon. Just a final note, Mr. Chairman, the National Grid Code needs to be reviewed, if you ask me, because if it is still within the range provided for in the National Grid Code, insofar as frequency, voltage, unbalanced, and 2 other factors that determine these 3. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the system operator is not allowed by the National Grid Code to make any interventions. He is only allowed to make interventions if it is beyond the range. The same is true for the power plant. Hindi pwedeng mag-manual shutdown, an unscheduled shutdown ng planta. Nang desisyon lang niya. Dapat pinagbibigay alam at sumusunod pa rin sa National Grid Code, and the National Grid Code is silent with respect to that. In fact, the National Grid Code merely says in passing that the power plant can switch it off, can do an unscheduled shutdown if it affects only frequency, and is silent about unbalanced, silent about voltage. These things need to be clarified so that protocols can be established to avoid a similar incidents from occurring in the future. And I have several recommendations, Mr. Chairman, which are a bit technical, but I'm sure our technical people here would more than understand what I will be referring to at the proper time.
To inform our resource persons, Mr. Chairman, that right now the Senate is still on break. And because of this issue, we have to come here para ma-address natin itong problema na ito. Kaya I am asking for your full cooperation, your utmost cooperation on this matter para ma-address natin itong problema na ito. Dahil kami, naka-break kami ngayon. Balikan lang kami sa Senado dahil napaka-importante po ito. So huwag natin sayangin itong oportunidad na ma-address natin itong issue na ito with this hearing.
Now, let's start with the Department of Energy to make their presentation. Yusek Sharon Garin, the Undersecretary of DOE. Go ahead, Madam.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon to all the senators that are present. For the Department of Energy, we would like to present together the different agencies have different functions in the case of energy. So the DOE will start and then followed by IMAP, which has a different perspective in the whole industry, and then followed by Transco, Mr. Chair, if you allow us.
Go ahead.
Please proceed. We will, Assistant Secretary Mario Marasigan will start for DOE, followed by IMAP and then Transco. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Assistant Secretary Mario Marasigan, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon to all, especially to our distinguished guests, members of the Committee on Energy of the Senate, and the local government officials. May I request the presentation? For the information of the attendees, the DOE will present only the sequences of events on what transpired from January 2 to January 5. So to start with, by midday of January 2, the system operation as well as the power supply situation in Panay are all in good conditions. Unfortunately, by 12:06, the Unit 1 of Panay Energy Development Corporation in Panay Island, which is a coal-fired power plant with 83 megawatts, tripped due to boiler feed pump. This is an internal problem within the system. So they have an automatic mechanisms that is triggered by too much vibration in their system. 2 hours after, or exactly at 2:19 p.m. on the same day, successive or almost simultaneous trippings of 6 power plants due to grid voltage imbalance happened. This was started with the 135 megawatt Palm Conception Power Corporation coal-fired power plant, the Unit 2 of Panay Energy Development Corporation with the same capacity with Unit 1 at 83 megawatts, the 50 megawatt of SPC Island Power Corporation's Diesel Power Plant Unit 3, the 15 megawatts PDP Unit 1, as well as the More Power Barge 101, and the 6.3 megawatt of Global Business Power Corporations, or otherwise known as the Navas Power Plant. With more than 300 megawatts out of the system in terms of supply, this resulted to the outages on the feeder lines of the distribution utilities. So all of the electric cooperatives and distribution utility in Panay Island were affected almost exactly at the same time, 2:19 in the afternoon. By 1 hour after, or exactly at 3:07 in the afternoon, Panay suffered a total blackout due to isolation of Panay Island from the Visayan grids. The Bacolod, Barotac Viejo, or the Negros Panay 138 kV submarine cable tripped at the time. Thereafter, or 3 minutes after, our system operator issued market intervention for Visayas. And another 14 minutes later, the Bacolod Barotac Viejo, or the Negros Panay 138 kV submarine cable was restored. Thereafter, the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines issued yellow alert notice for intervals at 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock in the evening. This is due to reported tin reserves in the Visayas grid. By 9:01, the yellow alert was lifted. And since some of the power plants restarted their power plants, by almost midnight or 11:45 in the evening, Panay Energy Development Corporation Unit 2 with 83 megawatts has synchronized to the grid. The following day, on January 3, at 7:45 in the morning, Panay Energy Development Corporation
Excuse me,
Unit 1.
Assistant Secretary Marasigan, pwede bang i-flash natin yung timeline na binabanggit ni Mr. Marasigan? Sir.
So kinabukasan po, if I may, no? Kinabukasan po, January 3, 7:45 po ng umaga. Yung pong PEDC Unit 1 ay sumunod na pong na-synchronize sa grid. So yung pong Unit 2 and Unit 1 magkasunod pong na-synchronize ko, nagkaroon po ng almost 160 megawatts na available na sa Panay. However, the other bigger plant, the PCPC or the Pump Conception Power Plant, remains to be undertaking troubleshooting kasi yung pong kanilang auxiliary unit na tinatarget nilang masynchronize between 10 o'clock in the evening, nagkaroon po sila ng konting problema or tinitingnan pa, nire-retest po nila yung kanilang sistema. While at almost 9:30 in the evening, Gemelco reported, yung pong Guimaras Electric Cooperative, nag-report po sila na meron na silang full supply. Hindi, may instruction pa rin po sa kanila na manual load dropping dahil hindi pa po stable yung supply. Ang susunod po kasing mga accounts na ito na yung mga oras na nawalan ng kuryente. Yung mga nawalang kuryente na electric cooperative, isa-isa na pong nabibigyan ng supply or nagkakaroon na po sila ng allocation. Pero yung pong allocation na binibigay ay hindi sapat para sa full energization ng lahat nilang mga feeders. Ang ibig pong sabihin noon, meron po silang pinaprioritize na mga areas at nagkakaroon pa rin po ng manual load dropping or rotational brownouts. Ang isa pong magandang example dyan ay yung pong nangyari sa Aklan Electric Cooperative. Dahil po alam naman natin na pangunahing business po, yung ekonomiya po ay nasa tourism, naapektuhan po at na-isolate din yung ating Boracay Island. Kung kaya nung magkaroon po ng kaunting supply ng electricity, habang nagkakaroon po ng manual load dropping or rotational brownouts sa Aklan, inuna po nilang magkaroon ng complete energization ang Boracay at ang city ng Kalibo para po naman sa ating mga hospital, government offices at pati na rin po sa airport. So yung pong ating mga electric cooperatives sa iba't ibang pamamaraan, nagkakaroon po sila ng prioritization habang ini-implement nila yung manual load dropping or rotational brownout dahil po sa limited supply pa ng kuryente. Ito po ay habang hinihintay natin na makabalik sa linya yung pong lahat ng power plant sa Panay Island. Towards the afternoon po or halos, by the way po, pati po yung ating private utility sa Iloilo City, yung pong More Electric Power Corporation, nagkakaroon pa rin po sila ng na manual load dropping. Alam naman po natin ang sentro ng komersyo ang Iloilo City. Subalit meron po by 9:30 in the morning po, almost a little over 60% pa lang po yung naibibigay sa kanila. Kung kaya't 14 out of 24 feeders pa lang po nila yung merong kuryente. So hindi pa rin po lahat. By 4 o'clock po in the afternoon, ang Palm Conception naman po ay nagbigay ng information sa atin na nagre-ready na po sila at they are on track for the synchronization of their system. Pagdating po sa January 5, dito na po natin na makikita na by 1:33 a.m., ang Palm Conception Power Corporation coal-fired facility with an 135 megawatts capacity, nag-umpisa na po silang magkaroon ng supply. Nag-start po sila ng 6 megawatts at dahan-dahan po sila nagkaroon ng ramping activity hanggang sa nagkaroon po sila ng supply o nakakapagbigay na po sila ng supply na 50 megawatts sa grid by 7:30 in the morning. Dito po, panibagong timeline na nakikita po natin, between 11:27 and 12:35 in the afternoon, lahat po ng affected DUs at electric cooperative eventually nagkaroon na po ng full energization. Ito po ay after the declaration na stable na po ang operation ng Palm Conception Power Corporation coal-fired facilities, pati na rin po yung deklarasyon ng NGCP ng stability ng ating grid system. So nagkaroon pa rin na rin po ng pagtatanggal or yung lifting ng ating market intervention sa Visayas by 12:34 at nasa normal operation na po ang ating wholesale electricity spot market by 12:40. Of course, eventually po, yung Palm Conception na-reach na po yung kanyang full capacity just before 1 p.m. on January 5. Dito na po yung signal na meron na pong full operation at nasa normal electricity services na po ang buong isla ng Panay, kasama po ang Guimaras at ang Boracay. So dyan po nagtatapos, yan po yung presentation ng DOE. This will be supported po by the presentation of IMOP and Transco as indicated by Undersecretary Garin. Maraming salamat po sa lahat.